Welcome to Etude number 11, part 1. This is part of the Villa-Lobos 12 and 12 challenge, 12 etudes across 12 months, and we're going to dive straight into this fantastic etude with the main points. Main points here are, this is a cello melody, so it needs to stay on string 4 and string 5 in the tenor range, thick and juicy tone. For the most part, you're going to be using finger number 3 to achieve that, so be very gentle with it, don't push in too hard. Villa-Lobos uses portamento here. It is a cello technique, so you're imitating a cello, so you can slide up and down, and yes, it's going to squeak a little bit. Get over it. There's a new technique here where you're going to be plucking with the left hand first finger to get a bass note, so that your right hand thumb can maintain tone and evenness across the melody. We will see that in bar number 2. Your right hand does a lot of work here. It's going to need a hell of a lot of fine control for not only maintaining the melody, but not over projecting the bass, and for making sure that the chordal accompaniment is nice and clear. So practice each one of those things separately and be very aware of what is coming in through your ears as you play. Last but not least, the melody does shift onto string number 5 at some point, so try and even up the tone between the two strings. Due to their tension and their thickness, there is going to be a slight change in timbre and tone. So again, use your ears and adjust on the fly as your melody moves up the 5th string. Let's dive into this first micro study and its fantastic cello melody. Alrighty, welcome to micro study number 1. This is all about that fantastic cello melody. So we're going to look at that in isolation first. Third finger on an A, third finger slides down to an F sharp, and then portamento back up to the A, down to a G, down to an E, portamento back up to G, down to F sharp, and then the melody switches onto the 5th string, portamento up, connecting to an F sharp with the 3rd finger, and then the 3rd finger shifts down. The 3rd finger then stays there and the melody switches to the so you need to be aware of that. So once you have that and you're happy, making sure that you've got some vibrato on the held notes, stick the bass line in. Now the bass is not this, it's this. There is a distinct difference. My melody note is getting all of the energy, so it's a rest stroke gently and then more energy into that melody note, and you do that together. Then we do that again. Now here I have opted to do that at the same time as that. It's nice and quiet, the melody stays ringing over, and my bass is still there, but you've got to practice that on its own. Obviously you can do this, but you can already hear that my melody tone has altered. That's your choice. So there we go. Bar 2. Portamento back up. And again. Through, you're going to have to stop, so your thumb is going to have to go and stop the E while you play the chords. And then your thumb comes back down. Portamento back up. Down to E. And again, you've got to be particularly careful there on that low E. That is where the melody is at. Then, obviously, after that lovely, beautiful melody section, we get the flat 5 where it's an E. And then we're back into the melody section again. And that is it in a nutshell. Once you've got that first section, the tenor melody and the bass lines, you need to add the chords in. So the first chord is first finger on a C natural, fourth finger on an F sharp, and Villa-Lobos is again doing his standard against an open string. Second chord, open E, open B, C natural. So it gives it that lovely, wonderful suspended sound. Third chord, we have an A and a D with the first fingers and the second fingers respectively. And then the third chord is B minor 9, up to the E. And then we get these two chords, if you want to call them that, a C sharp to C natural. Second finger comes off as soon as that C natural is played, and then back down. And I would just practice that. First finger and third finger stay down during the section to promote security, and your second finger is just going to do that. So if you've never done that before, give it a bash in isolation before you do. And obviously be aware that at bar 4 it is più mosso, so it means slightly pushed or a little bit faster. And that is it. That's the first micro study. Let's take a look at that in slow motion. Okay, welcome to microstudy number 2. Main points here are: left hand finger 3 is going to be the anchor for pretty much most of this, so it needs to be relaxed but stable, so be aware of that. Left hand finger 2 does a fantastic little dance between the C sharp and the B flat. This is something that might need practicing in isolation. You could just do it just like this on its own until you can get it nice and fluid. Again, we are going to need right hand fine control. Your bass note and your melody note are together on strings 5 and 6. So you need to be able to separate them clearly, not try and project through with a rest stroke and save the energy for the E and not. One final point. The chords here are not meant to be rolled chords, so don't. They are chord stabs. Almost like jazz, it's almost a little bit of a big band feeling there, or trumpet stabs, whichever way you want to look at it. It doesn't matter, but do not roll the chords here. Make sure they're nice and clean, and that your fingers I and A are even in tone across the strings, so that there is nothing standing out, particularly your E string. Try not to let your E string sing out too loud. Let's dive in and check out this final bit of section 1. Welcome to microstudy number 2. Microstudy number 2 is the first repeat bar and then the second repeat bar, which is not in the music. Villa-Lobos has just written it out, but in essence that is what is happening. It's just a repeat of the first section. So I've already covered this. There is an implied cut there so that you can get back to this melody at bar 7, where we go back into the length section and the melody again. So that is the first sort of repeat. And Villa-Lobos has put a fermata pause over this F sharp. Again, everything with the third finger on that fourth string. So we go through the melody again. And then here we come back to. And then we're into the next micro study. So Villa-Lobos is again just playing with that B flat to E, the flat 5.
anime section, and there's a double bar line there, and a time change as well. We're into 2/2. So there is nothing difficult or new about this other than a couple of extra and a couple of extra before we're into the next section. And that is it for the first section. We're now just going to take a quick look at the ending because it directly relates to all of this material, and there is only one or two slight variances or material shuffled around.
Welcome to microstudy number 4. We're skipping over 3 because that's just a run through of the first section's material. If you want to see it, it's in the book. Grab a copy at classicalguitarrocks.com. Let's have a look now at the main points for number 4. Number 4 is the ending, so it is the final bar really that you need to learn. Everything that you've done in the first section so far has slight variances or has the material shuffled around, so just keep the score handy and you will get it all correct. The final bar is super quiet, so that is going to require very good right hand control. And you can either rake across with your thumb or you can do P and I to get those notes. Villa-Lobos has put a quaver rest in the final bar. Use it. Please don't let the A ring over into the last E. You're going to need a fluid third finger change here because your third finger is doing a lot of work for both of these notes as you shift between the penultimate and into the last bar. So use the fermata sign that Villa-Lobos has provided kindly and think ahead of the shifts. Let's dive into this final few bars.
Welcome to microstudy number 4, and microstudy number 4 picks up at bar 97 of the piece. So we have the E, C sharp, flat 5, and that ending, which has a triple P underneath it. So after everything that's come before it, all the octaves, all the dyads, we have a super quiet ending, and that's going to take some practice. So you can do it. And again, aiming for this note and this note being louder. I would not do it like that because you want them quiet and together. The other thing to note is there is a cut there. Villa-Lobos has put a quaver rest in. I would just use my left hand to do it. This is too long and you want it ready for that. Just like that, just lay your first finger across all of the strings to achieve that cut. And that's it. That is the beginning and the ending of this piece. We just now need to dive into the middle. Okay, so from a fingering point of view, you're holding on that chord there, and you realistically will have to take your third finger off. You can pre-prepare it if you want onto the octave A, and then I'm using my second finger for the E, but the choice is yours. You could just use 3 and 3.
Awesome, you made it to the end. Thank you very much for staying here with me. This has been part of the Villa-Lobos 12 and 12 challenge, which is hosted by classicalguitarrocks.com. There are a ton of lessons there, free and paid for, and courses, and just about anything you can think of for intermediate to advanced pieces and players. So if you're looking for a challenge, head over there and check it out.